Fear is the silent assassin of greatness. It doesn't storm in like a thunderclap. It whispers. It lingers. It coils around the edges of your ambition and poisons it with doubt. Fear will make a king feel like a coward. It will make a visionary look down at their feet and question their own light. It is not the world that stops most people. It is the ghost they let live in their own mind. And the cruel truth? That ghost is entirely self-created. You were not born afraid. You were not born to play small. Look at a child before the world teaches them limits. Bold, unshaken, hungry to learn, to try, to fall and rise again. Fear is learned, and if it can be learned, it can be unlearned. This is not just a motivational phrase, it is a law of the mind. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Fears are nothing more than a state of mind, and states of mind can be changed. They can be dominated, transformed, transcended, but only if you are willing to confront the beast directly. Fear wears many masks: procrastination, overthinking, self-sabotage, addiction to comfort, perfectionism, imposter syndrome. All of them are branches of the same rotten root. And here is the brutal reality most never admit: the life you want, the version of you that's buried under layers of hesitation. It lives on the other side of everything you're afraid to face. Fear is not a wall, it is a door, and it is unlocked, always has been. Most people just never try the handle. Now understand this: fear is not the enemy. The real enemy is your obedience to it. Fear exists for a reason. It was built to protect you. But when you let it run your life, it becomes a prison guard rather than a protector. Fear will disguise itself as logic, as caution, as humility. But don't be fooled. Fear does not want your safety. It wants your soul on a leash. Every time you hesitate, every time you pull back, every time you let fear dictate your behavior, you strengthen it. You give it ground. And what you feed grows. You must starve fear through action. The antidote to fear is not more information. It's not waiting until you're ready. It's not affirmation without execution. The antidote to fear is movement. Bold, deliberate, uncomfortable action. Because fear cannot coexist with momentum. That's why your freedom begins the moment you do the thing you're afraid to do. Not because the fear vanishes, but because you finally stopped negotiating with it. You want to destroy fear? You must decide that it is no longer the loudest voice in the room. You must develop the discipline to act, especially when fear is screaming the loudest. That's where transformation begins. Look at every titan of history: Edison, Lincoln, Carnegie, Mandela. They weren't fearless. They were courageous. And courage, by definition, only exists in the presence of fear. Edison failed 10,000 times before creating the light bulb. Imagine the fear that crept in with every failure. Imagine the doubts whispered by those around him. But he kept showing up, kept striking the match in the dark, because he knew something that most people never learn. If you wait to feel fearless before you act, you'll be waiting forever. Fear is not a signal to stop. It is a signpost that you're standing at the edge of growth. Most people confuse fear with danger, but danger is real. Fear is imagined. They are not the same. Danger is stepping in front of a speeding car. Fear is launching your business, speaking your truth, quitting the job that's killing your spirit. One can kill your body. The other kills your potential. Now listen closely. Your mind is a garden. If you let fear take root, it will overgrow everything. It will choke out your confidence, your clarity, your conviction. And if left unattended long enough, it will convince you that mediocrity is noble. But if you plant the seeds of courage, if you water them daily with action, even tiny action, you will begin to tilt the scale. This is why self-discipline is not optional. It is survival. It is the foundation upon which courage is built. Discipline is doing what you said you would do long after the emotion you made the decision in has faded. And discipline is the weapon that slays fear. Because every time you take action without waiting to feel ready, you send a message to your subconscious. I am in charge now. And if you do that often enough, the fear doesn't go away. It just stops driving the car. And when you stop letting fear run your life, a strange thing happens. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to see proof that you're not who fear told you you were. You see that you're capable, that your dreams aren't delusions, that boldness isn't reserved for the lucky or the loud. It's earned through small victories, through deliberate discomfort, through showing up over and over again when it would have been easier to fold. It's forged in silence, in the dark hours when no one is watching, when it's just you, your doubt, and your decision. This is where warriors are born, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, where fear is loudest and faith is tested. And if you can hold your ground in that place, if you can refuse to shrink when fear shouts, if you can keep moving, keep building, keep breathing through the panic, you will reach a day where fear no longer controls you. It still visits, but it no longer dictates your path. It whispers, but you don't obey, because now you have proof. You've walked through the fire and came out stronger. You've felt the panic and still pressed forward. You've silenced the inner critic, not with words, but with action. You have become something fear cannot hold. And now you're dangerous, not to others, but to the life you used to settle for. Fear built walls. You walked through them. Fear said, stay safe. You said, watch me. You are no longer a slave to hesitation. You are a commander of courage. And this shift, this awakening, it doesn't make you reckless. It makes you responsible. Because when fear no longer leads, your highest self does. And your highest self isn't afraid to take up space, to take risks, to take responsibility for every inch of your destiny. You were not placed on this earth to tiptoe around your calling. You were born to climb, to carve, to build, to push forward through the discomfort, to use your mind as a tool, not a trap. To remember, as Hill said, that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But belief is not enough. Action is belief made real. And bold, disciplined action is the language the universe responds to. So act. Act like your future depends on it, because it does. Act like your family is watching, because they are. Act like the world is waiting on your gift, because it is. And act like you're on a mission from God, because you are. You've been given breath, will, imagination, desire. These are not accidents. They are instruments, sacred tools meant to be used, not buried under layers of fear and excuse. Every second you hesitate is a second wasted in the waiting room of potential. You are not meant to wait. You are meant to build. Discipline is the bridge between your vision and your reality, and it's built with sweat, with silence, with the choice to rise when you want to rest, to move when you want to moan, to act when you want to avoid. And this is how you destroy fear forever. You starve it, you outgrow it, you no longer feed it attention or energy or delay. You bury it under a mountain of action. Every rep, every step, every page you write, call you make, leap you take, it is a funeral for fear. And when the voice of doubt returns, because it will, you will no longer respond with retreat. You will respond with movement. Because now you are dangerous to fear itself. You are the proof that it can be beaten. You are the walking contradiction to every lie fear ever whispered. And the world needs that version of you, not tomorrow, not someday. Now so rise, not with hesitation, but with fire. Not with fear, but with focus. Not as a victim, but as a force. Because fear dies the moment you decide to stop waiting. This is the hour. This is the moment. This is where the weak version of you ends and the real you begin.